Hi, friends. I am so excited for you. I love that you've traveled from however far away you've traveled to be here at this retreat. I am so sorry I couldn't make it. I had every intention of coming, but I ended up having an event that day and duty calls. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Casey Witt. I'm a Superstar Director out of Maryland. I actually live in Pasadena, Maryland. I understand that you guys are in Luray, so you're not very far from me. I have been a Scentsy consultant since 2011. And it has been one of the most life-changing experiences of my whole entire life. Just a little bit of background on me. I started this business on a dare. I had a girlfriend from middle school invite me to a Scentsy party, and she was someone that I had lost touch with over the years, and I thought it would be really cool to just get reacquainted with her. So I accepted her invitation and went to her Scentsy party, and it was a really good time. I split a bundle and save with my sister-in-law, and we Scentsied it up, right? So I came home with a full-size warmer and 3 bars. And that was that. I had a 16-year-old son at the time and a sweet dear husband. And the boys really loved the smell. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they really loved the fact that there were no candles in the house, because I don't know about you, but I am the girl who leaves her refrigerator open. My husband came in the other day from work, and after about 5 minutes, he said, Casey, I've closed this cabinet behind you 3 times. So I'm pretty forgetful. So wax and warmers instead of candles was right on time, right? It was a savior for our family. And so that was the end of that. Yay, good stuff, right? Well, that's cool. Then I go to work a few weeks later, and another friend is having a basket party. And this basket party was... she had a full set of testers, and it was the big ones, not the real big ones for the OGs, but the big ones for the OGs. And so we're sorting through all of these testers, and I'm bossing everybody around because I'm really good at bossing people around. And I'm like, oh, you want this scent? This one's terrible. Don't even look at this one. This one's okay. And so I made piles for people just to kind of narrow it down, because I was the experienced girl at this Sensei, because that's what I called it, thing. And so I explained everything to them and showed them everything they needed to know about Scentsy in my full half hour of experience. And so my girlfriend, who was throwing the party, she said, Casey, you should do this. And I was like, ugh. And she was totally just saying it offhand, you kind of know it. And she wasn't trying, I know her well enough. She wasn't trying to recruit me. She wasn't the consultant. She was just doing a bag party for another MRI tech. We were all MRI techs at the time. And so I was like, yeah, no. And she's like, yeah, you probably can't make any money doing this. And she was saying in general, not about me, but I was like, watch me, son. And so I went ahead and signed up. That host gave me that party. Within days of signing up, someone called me and said, hey, I heard you're a Scentsy lady. Someone I don't know. I heard you're a Scentsy lady. And someone gave me this basket party, and she's not returning my phone calls anymore. Can I put this party in through you? Okay, that was another $500 party, right? And before I knew it, I had certified, and I was so excited about this, and just over the moon, okay, this is fun. But I was like, I'm going to make $1,000 in this first month. When she said, you can't make any money, I was like, I'm going to make $1,000 this first month. And it was the month before Christmas. I signed up on November the 2nd. And lo and behold, I get to the end of the month, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get that $1,000 bonus because I was short. And then on the 10th of the month, commissions came out, And I had made it because I didn't know about the 5% bonus. So I made $1,000 on my first paycheck. And I was like, boom, mic drop, sis, I'm done. I told you could make money doing this. And then that was it. I had zero intentions of taking the business any further. That December, I think I had a couple of residual orders. And so I think I sold like $200 worth of stuff just because people were still coming. And I just had intended to be over it. Well, someone in my upline reached out in January and said, hey, you're only this far. I think it was like $300 away from Sensational Start Level 3, which will give you $200 in free product. And I was like, oh, well, I want $200 in free product. And so I took the $200 in free product, and then I was done. Again, then my upline reached out and she said, hey, there's this thing coming up and they're going to recognize some of the people who accomplished different things. And one of those things is Sensational Start Level 3. They'll at least have you stand up so you can be recognized. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was my first spring sprint world tour now. And it was in Philly, which interestingly enough is where we'll go this year. That was the last time that we were in Philly. And so I don't know, geographically, if you know, I'm about 2 hours away from Philly. And I had zero intention of going, but there was a party bus and I'm always down for a party. So I was like, okay, I'll do the party bus and I'll go to Philly. I knew no one on the bus when I got on, and had no intention of growing this business. I was just there to be recognized. And so we get on the bus and we're talking, and I happen to be sitting next to a couple of directors, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they're doing. I could do that. And then after a little bit, I'm like, well, if that girl can do this. She had 27 kids. I don't know. It could have been 4, whatever. And a full-time job and all of this. And I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. And so I just kind of sat there and I was like, yeah, but I don't really want to do this thing. And then we get to Spring Sprint / World Tour now. And I was so impressed by the diversity in the room. The fact there were people, differently abled people and different socioeconomical classes, and just people who look different and talk different from one another. And they were in this room and everyone was of one accord, and the world wasn't as divided as it is now, but it still was pretty rare to walk in a room where people who, from all appearances, had nothing in common, but were actually sisters, right? And so I was like, oh, this is neat. I really like this energy. So we do Spring Sprint. I can't remember any amazing speakers. I can't remember if we had expos. I don't think we had expos then. I don't even remember who from the home office staff was there. But I do remember walking out of there with this fire in my belly that said, I'm going to do this. And so that was in late January. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. So within a few days, I signed up my first consultant, which actually ended up being first 4 consultants. 4 people joined all at one time. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going to do this. Which was actually really nice because when you batch recruiting, you can, you put everybody together and you can kind of talk it through. And most of the times if somebody has a question, the other people do too. So it kind of reminds you to tell people about different things. Social media was a little bit there, but not super prevalent. It wasn't, definitely not how I run my business, but we did have Facebook. I was on a Facebook group page. And so 4 people signed up on that first day, and then, everyone killed it. Everyone who joined killed it. I ended the month. I went from, and I cannot remember if I promoted to January to lead or not. I can't remember. And I guess I always say, I'm going to go back and look, and I never do. But I can't remember if I promoted to lead in January. But by the end of February, I had gone from certified or lead consultant to director, because the people who were joining were rock stars, on fire. We were doing parties together. I was going to their parties. I was on fire. And we promoted to director, and it was really freaking amazing. It really was. It was one of the highlights of my life. I know that sounds really lame, but I was up at 1:00 in the morning, getting, doing numbers and doing math, and the workstation at that time, you guys, we are so fortunate now. At that time, that workstation would creep along after a certain time in the evening. Like, you were not, you definitely wanted to get those orders in early, because it was not fun. And so, 1:00 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, I promoted to director all alone. My husband, who was super supportive, was fast asleep in his bedroom. He had no idea. I started that day at 6,800, sorry, 68,000, that'd be nice. 6,800 TWV. And I was like, you know what? I'm up 800 TWV. I'm not putting that to waste. I'm going to shoot for director. And so I did. And that was my most memorable promotion. I just felt like, man, I did it. We did it together. It was so much back and forth conversation, and we did it. Like, yes, this is awesome. And I know there's a lot of stories. I mean, there's some people who've, promote to director and star director and superstar director in like a month span, just kind of depending on where their business is. Fun fact. Now when I look back and I talk to people, that's when Scentsy was in a dip. I didn't know. I had no idea. So I always find it interesting when we get into this mindset of a dip and how business is slow. But if you don't know it's slow, if you don't have that mindset to expect it to be slow, to kind of feel like, it's okay if I don't do this because we're in a dip anyway, or I'm not going to push too hard because we're in a dip, and you don't realize that you're doing that, but you do. You do. I do it. But at that time I was on fire, and everyone around me was on fire. We were just the fire club. And so it was just like really, 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 really cool. Just, wow, we did it. 9 people. There were 9 people on my team. Everyone was frontline. The next month we hit director, and there were 18, and not everyone was frontline. So that was really cool for me. And then the next month we had 36. And it's funny that they did actually end up being double the 3 months. And that, there wasn't beautiful math anymore after that. But it was such a fun time to be a consultant. And it really was a decision that I'm going to do this. And I've seen over and over again people on my team who've also decided that they are going to do this. And so I just hope that as you walk out of this event, that you are going to take the time that you've spent with the people that you've spent time with, and you're going to feel that you are going to do this, that you're going to walk away from here knowing in your gut that you can do this. Because guess what? You can do it. I don't care who you are. I don't know most of you. I know a couple of you. Hi, friends. But I don't know most of you, but I know that you can do it. I absolutely know you can do it. And you know how I know that you can do it? Because I've seen people do it and do it and do it and do it. And actually, a couple of my front lines will tell you that maybe I didn't have the best optimistic attitude. There's even a podcast about it, Scentsy podcast. I had 2 gals they were pushing for director, and I was cautiously optimistic for them. And I made it very clear that I was cautiously optimistic, probably a little too heavy on the cautiously, because they had a long way to go. I mean, I thought, oh, it's really good that you're here next month. Like, let's front load you, and then this will get you next month, you'll promote. And do you know, there's at least 3 people I did that to, and all 3 of them promoted. So, I mean, even having lived through it myself, I knew that it was doable, but I just was trying to like cushion the fall, if you know what I mean. But they decided that they were going to do it. Even if it looked like I didn't think they could do it, it looked hard and it looked daunting, and they decided that they can do it. So I hope that every single one of you will walk away from here, from your event, from Luray, which I hope you guys get to see the caverns while you're up there. But I hope that you're going to walk away from Luray feeling like you know you can do it, because you can. You can. And if I told you the stories of the people in my team, just my organization, who have done this, and the struggles that they've had, and the strife that they've faced, and the obstacles that were in front of them, and the things that they thought they never could do. If I told you those, and actually you guys, I know you have a couple of those stories in this room. So I'm going to encourage you to ask around to the leaders that are in this room and ask them, like, so what was the worst thing that was going on in your life when you promoted to director, star director, superstar director? Because you're going to hear some stories, friends. You're going to hear some real stories, and you're going to be amazed. So if they can do it, you can do it. You 100% can do it. I'm going to encourage you to ask around. Hear some stories. Second, I'm going to encourage you to sign up to go to World Tour or whatever other event that you can get your paws on, because, friends, magic happens there. If you have downline, get them to come with you, because, friends, magic happens there. And then the third thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is just know. Just know. Capital K, capital N, capital O, capital W, know that you can do this. So I hope that you guys have the best time, and thank you so much for just giving me a minute to shout from the rooftops how amazing this company is and how amazing you are, and just that no matter what the obstacle is, no matter what the burden is, no matter what, you can do this if you decide that you can do this. Have a great time, friends. Bye.